Hello children, I am Mrs. Radha Ketkar from DES Secondary School, Pune. Today we are going to discuss Science 2 Lesson 5 Towards Green Energy. Now why this name? Towards Green Energy. So when we talk about green energy, we mean to say that we are going to take care of environment whenever we are producing electricity. So here we are going to talk mostly about electrical energy because we know that electrical energy is very much required for the development of the nation. It is always said that the development of the nation depends on its energy. Okay, so we are going to discuss in detail how this energy is produced in different types of power plants. So let us get started towards green energy. So let us talk about different forms of energy. You have studied it in previous standards. So which are the names? You can give me different types of energy. Chemical energy, sound energy, light energy, solar energy, and you can give some other examples also. You can see these things in pictures also. Okay, you can see something with atoms there in the first picture, nuclear energy, fusion and fission energies involved. Then you can see a picture in which there is something boiling in the vessel, thermal energy. Also we can see whenever we are lighting a bulb, we are making use of electrical energy, and we are going to convert it into light energy. Whenever we are looking at a bulb, we know that we are going to make use of electrical energy, which will be converted into light energy. In many examples, we make use of chemical energy. Like suppose you are driving a vehicle, at that time, the chemical energy is going to be utilized for getting that speed or the acceleration, right? So we are going to convert chemical energy into mechanical energy. Also, we are aware of magnetic energy. You must have heard about potential energy and kinetic energy. So you can see in the case of bow and arrow, we are making use of potential energy. Whenever the bow is stretched, we can see that there is potential energy in that system. And when we release that arrow, that potential energy can be converted into kinetic energy. So you can see here, we are having different forms of energy and these forms are interchangeable. That means we can convert it from one form to another one. So let us see the energy conversion. You know the law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed also. The total energy in the universe will always remain constant. So you can see in the examples which are shown here, chemical energy can be converted into different forms. So you can convert it into electrical energy. Electrical energy can be used for driving a car. Then that can be used for running different devices. So you can see a bulb which is lighting over here. Then second one, you are having a TV which is working on electricity. Also, this chemical energy can give rise to the mechanical movement. So you can see a space shuttle moving because of the some kind of chemical energy used here. Even our body works using this particular type of energy. So what we do, we consume food, and using this food, we are getting the chemical energy into our body and we are going to convert it into other forms. So we are able to walk, we are able to do our workout. That is because of the energy that we are consuming. So you can see here, conservation of energy, that energy can be just converted from one form to another one, but the total energy in the universe will always remain constant. Now, in this lesson, our aim is to learn how the electricity is generated. As I said, that the total development depends on electrical energy. You know that our industries work only because of electrical energy. In our houses also, we are using so many different devices. All these devices work on electrical energy. You take example of your kitchen and you can just name so many devices which require electricity, right? So we need electricity for our day-to-day use. We need energy for our industrial requirements, right? So there is a tremendous demand of this electrical energy. So there has to be production according to that demand. Okay, and all these power plants are going to work to provide us with that required energy. Okay, so we are going to learn about generation of electrical energy. So you can see a picture here which shows you a magnet showing south and north pole, and also a solenoid. What is a solenoid? Solenoid is nothing but a conductor, and you can see many turns of that conductor, so that makes it a solenoid. In this picture, you can see a magnet which is showing a north and a south pole, and also you can see a solenoid. So what is this solenoid? It is nothing but a conductor, and with this conductor you are having many turns, right? So this particular structure is known as a solenoid. Also you can see a galvanometer here. So galvanometer is used to detect the current which is there in the circuit. Okay, so now whenever we are having a relative movement of the magnet with respect to solenoid, the current will be induced. Okay, so you can see all the power plants, mostly all of the power plants are going to be based on this particular principle of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so you can understand the words here. Electro relates to electricity, magnetic relates to the magnets which are involved, and induction is induced current. Okay, so the current will be induced because of the relative movement of a magnet and a solenoid. Okay, so just see the second point. Whenever magnetic field around the conductor changes, potential difference is generated across the conductor. Okay, so this potential difference is important for getting the current. So you can see the animation here. There is a relative movement of a magnet with respect to the conductor, and down you can see the voltmeter is showing the deflection, and which indicates that the potential difference is set. Okay, so how this can be achieved? It can be done in two different ways. In first one, the conductor is stationary and the magnet is moving. So the same example you can see in the picture. And there could be another way in which the magnet is stationary and the conductor is moving. Okay, so in either case we are going to get the potential difference, and whenever we are having potential difference created, then the current will be induced. Okay, and the machine which is based on this principle is known as electric generator. Okay, so all the power plants will need this particular type of electric generator where the potential difference is created, and because of which electricity is produced. You can see the working, how exactly it happens. There is a movement of a conductor with respect to magnet here. The conductor is moving. In the earlier case, the magnet was moving. Okay, so this mechanical movement of that particular conductor with respect to the magnet, right? So it is going to induce the current, and that's why the bulb will light. So what is a generator? It is a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. You can see the mechanical movement here, which is going to give rise to current. Now, how this mechanical movement will be achieved? The coil has to move. That means there has to be some mechanical movement. So how this movement will be achieved? For that, we need the turbine. Okay, so turbines will allow this particular part to move. So turbines are going to rotate the generator, and later on the energy can be produced. So see the flow chart. You are having the energy source which will drive the turbine. It is going to rotate the turbine. Then it will drive the generator in turn. Okay, and then the electricity will be produced. So you can see a picture of a turbine here. So there has to be something which will make the movement of the turbine possible. So what is a turbine? See the definition. It is a rotary mechanical device. Rotary means it is going to rotate, right? So it is a rotary mechanical device which gets energy from moving water or jet of steam or gas. Okay, so there has to be something which is going to drive that motion, right? So you can see we are making use of, say, water here. So because of which there will be a movement of the turbine blades. So this movement is going to rotate the magnet in the generator, and this will give rise to potential difference, and then energy will be produced. Now let us start with the first type of power plant, that is thermal power plant. So why the name? Thermal means heat energy. Okay, so in this case the heat energy will be used. That's why it is a thermal type of power plant. Now you can see in the picture it shows you coal as the source of energy. Okay, so coal, we can say that it is a fossil fuel which will be used in this particular type of power plant. So coal is taken, that will be burnt in a furnace, okay, and because of this burning, the water in that particular area will be heated. You can see the tubes over there, blue color tubes, which are showing water, okay. So this water will be heated because of the burning of coal, right? Now, once the water starts boiling, the steam will be produced. You can see that this steam is passed on the right hand side and it is reaching the turbines. Okay. Now, this jet of steam is going to drive the turbines. It will set the turbine blades into motion. Now, once this happens, you can see that this turbine is connected with a generator. So there will be movement of the magnets which are placed in the generator, and then you know how the potential difference will be created and energy will be produced. So this energy will be given to the transmission lines, right? You can see also the transformer there, step up transformer, and at our end we are having the step down transformer. Okay, so the voltage will be changed using the transformers, and that's how the energy will be given to the transmission lines. So this is how exactly the thermal power plant is going to work. So you can see from the source till the energy is produced, entire picture is shown over here. Okay. Now in this case also you can see that water which is heated, once that steam is used, it is going to lose its temperature. Okay. So energy will be lost over there. So then you can recycle that water. So can be used again. Okay. And whenever that becomes useless, so the water which is not in use will be left in river. Okay. So it might happen that it is at little bit higher temperature. So it might be harmful for the animals which are present in that river. So let us understand the steps. Turbine is rotated using high pressure and temperature steam. Steam is generated by boiling water using coal. The energy in the steam drives the turbine. The steam is converted back into water using the condenser and it is sent back to boiler. Turbine then rotates the generator and energy is produced. So you can see maximum amount of energy is produced using thermal power plants. Okay, so that's why thermal power plants are very important. Let us look at the flow chart. We are having the source fuel as coal. Boiler is going to convert water into steam. That will move the steam turbine, will rotate the generator blades or generator magnets. It will move the magnets in the generator and then electricity will be produced. Okay, and also there is a system which is going to convert steam back into water, so that can be recycled. Now look at the energy conversion. Chemical energy in coal will be converted into thermal energy or heat energy. Then it will be converted into kinetic energy in the steam and kinetic energy in the turbine. Okay, and then finally we are going to get electrical energy. Now what are the problems with this particular type of power plant? You can see the first point, air pollution due to burning of coal. It is going to result into emission of CO2, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, then nitrogen oxide, okay, or nitrogen monoxide, which are very harmful for our health. We know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Okay, so that is going to lead to global warming. Also, SO2, you can say that is not really good for our health, right? Because it is going to cause various problems, like it is going to lead to acid rain. It is also going to affect, SO2 is also going to affect the cloud formation and also the precipitation. Many times whenever these particles are given out in the air, they also cause the visibility problems. You must have heard about climate of Delhi in winter seasons most of the times. It creates smog. Okay, so that is the combination of smoke and fog. Okay, so that is also not good for health and not good for the visibility purpose. Okay, so all these gases which are created, they are going to pollute air, right? And they are really harmful for human health also. So emission of soot particles also can cause different health problems, respiratory problems. Okay, so that's why it should be avoided. The reserves of coal are limited. We know it is a fossil fuel and it takes literally thousands of years for formation of coal. So the reserves are limited. That's why we have to take the future generations into consideration and see to it that even they have some amount of coal reserved for their generations. Look at the pictures of different power plants which are there in India. So you can see the first one, that is at Vindhyanagar, MP. Then second one, Gujarat. Third one for Chhattisgarh. And fourth one at Chandrapur. Let us understand what you mean by capacity of power plant. You must have seen certain numbers with those pictures. So let us understand what are those numbers. So if we say that a power plant is having a capacity of 5000 megawatt, what does that mean? These numbers don't give us any idea. So let us convert it into the data which we can understand. So what is 1 megawatt? It is nothing but 1000 kilowatt. And what do you mean by power? Power is how fast you are consuming energy, or in definition format if you say, it is the rate at which the energy is utilized. So how much electricity is produced in a power plant? So we are taking example of say 1000 as a number over here, power multiplied by time. So what is the power that we are considering? Say 1 megawatt. So that is equal to 1000 kilowatt into 24 hours. That means 24 hours this particular production is going on. That gives you a number 24,000 kilowatt hour, right? And we know kilowatt hour is nothing but unit. That's how we are going to measure the energy. Okay, so 24,000 kilowatt hour, that is nothing but 24,000 units. Okay, now for a particular plant, in the earlier picture there was a power plant which was showing some number of 5000 megawatt. Okay, so how much energy will be produced by that power plant? So energy produced will be 5000 into 1000, as we have done it in the earlier part. Okay, so 5000 multiplied by 1000 multiplied by 24 hours. Okay, so that is going to give us 12 crore kilowatt hour. That means 12 crore units. Okay, now if this much energy is produced in that particular power plant, okay, then if each house uses around say 100 units per month, okay, then you can say this 12 crore divided by 100 units. Then you can see that 12 lakh houses can get their energy from the power plant which is having capacity of 5000 megawatt. Right? Now I think these terms will be understood that this particular power plant is going to give energy to 12 lakh houses if you are doing the energy production for 24 hours. Now let us start with the second type of power plant, that is nuclear power plant. So here we are going to make use of some elements which are radioactive. So elements like uranium-235, polonium will be used in the nuclear power plants. In nuclear power plants, the turbines are rotated by using steam. See, our basic working is going to remain the same. What all things we need in the power plant? We have studied it. We need some energy source, okay, and there has to be something which is going to drive the turbine. Okay, so that can be water, that can be steam. Okay, so for production of this steam, we will require some amount of energy source. Then movement of turbines, movement of generator, and then electricity will be produced. So this basic structure remains the same everywhere. Here we are going to make use of the nuclear power for producing steam. Right? So water will be heated using this particular energy or the nuclear energy. So water is heated using the energy given out in the nuclear fission. Okay, that means breaking of that particular heavy atom. Look at the pictures. This is the uranium source that we are going to use in the nuclear power plant. Now let us understand what is the reaction which is going on here. You can see in the first picture there is uranium atom shown which is having 235 as atomic mass number. It is bombarded with a neutron. Now instead of 235, as one neutron is added, the number is going to be 236. At this stage, this particular atom is going to be highly unstable. So it is going to split into two different atoms. One will be barium and another one will be krypton. So you can see for barium the number is 141, atomic mass number 141, and for krypton it is 92. So if you add these two numbers, you will get a number which is 233. Okay, but you can see earlier we were having total number is 236 when that one neutron was added. Then how do you give account for these three neutrons? So you can see in the last part these three neutrons are released. Okay, so they are set free and again they are going to bombard or they are going to strike on some other atoms. Right? So that's how this particular fission reaction will continue. You can see it in the second picture also, that three neutrons are released and again they will be bombarded on next uranium atoms. That's how this chain reaction will continue till the action of the control rods. Control rods are basically going to control the speed of the reaction. Okay, so as long as this material is available, the reaction will continue. So how much energy is produced? That you can see it is measured in mega electron volt. The three neutrons generated, they are going to cause the fission of the other three uranium-235 atoms. And this will continue. You can also see it in this picture which is shown, uranium-235, then uranium-236, it becomes unstable and then it is going to continue the reaction after producing three neutrons. You can see the picture of the power plant. You can see a reactor vessel where actually the reaction is going to take place. You can also see the control rods which are going to control the rate of the reaction, because otherwise it can be uncontrolled reaction and we know it is going to be hazardous. Then when this particular water will be boiled, steam will be generated. Steam is going to rotate the blades of the turbine. Turbine will in turn move the magnets in the generator and then electricity will be produced. So the other part remains the same. Only thing, the first part is going to change depending on which source of energy you are going to use. So what are the advantages of nuclear power plants? You can see the first one, directly there is no air pollution. Okay. Then sufficient nuclear fuel is available. But there are certain problems with the nuclear power plants. So what are these problems? You can see the first one, products after fission of nuclear fuel are also radioactive and they are going to emit harmful radiation. So disposal is a major challenge. You can see in the pictures down, it is packed. All those rods which are used, they are packed, okay, but still they are hazardous. And in the third picture, you can see how you're going to store these cans which are going to have all these rods which are going to give radiations even after years and years. So this is a big challenge. And also the accidents in nuclear power plant can be really fatal. So that's why to avoid these things, we have to think about the solutions. Look at the flow chart of nuclear power plant. You can see fuel is uranium or plutonium. Nuclear reactor is going to give that reaction of nuclear fission. Then we have a system for steam generation from water. Water will be heated using nuclear energy. It is going to rotate the turbine. It is going to move the magnets in the generator. Electricity will be produced, and there is also a system which is going to convert that steam back into water and that can be used again. So this is the flow chart for nuclear power plant. Then what is the energy conversion? We are having nuclear energy in uranium, which will be converted into thermal energy for heating of water. So kinetic energy in steam, which is going to drive the turbine, right? And then generators are going to produce electricity. So let us start with the next power plant, that is natural gas power plant. So here again the system, rest of the system remains the same. So what we are going to have? Natural gas which will be used as fuel. Pressurized air is introduced in the combustion chamber using the compressor. You can see it in picture, compressor. And in combustion chamber, the gas is going to burn in presence of air. Okay, so what additional thing we require here? That is nothing but the source of air, because without which the burning will not be possible. So this natural gas is going to burn in the combustion chamber, right? Now, due to this burning, you can see that the turbine will be rotated and then generator will be activated, which is going to produce alternating type of current. The gas at very high temperature and high pressure is going to run the turbine. The turbine will drive the generator and electricity will be produced. So what are the advantages of this particular type of power plant? So you can see here we are not heating water. Directly that burning gas, whatever pressure is created, that is going to rotate the turbine.